everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Andrew Otten, editor-in-chief.
Rutledge Doggett, site founder.
Andrew Stretch, chili cheese dog editor.
Thank you, Sonic. This week, we're going to talk about early impressions of Madden 23, but we have a lot of news to cover. There have been so many announcements in the past week. So I think let's just kick it right off with the Sony State of Play. The big Sony State of Play that happened on Thursday. It was like, what, 30 minutes of announcements?
30 minutes, and they did a lot of stuff in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? In and out.
A lot of announcements.
Mm-hmm. It started pretty strong.
There was a lot of things that like they didn't show that people were expecting to see.
Yeah.
Like, I'm amazed God of War wasn't there.
So
Yeah.
That Bloodborne PC port that we all know is coming.
Yeah, right. That one.
So many people, you just hurt them. Emotional damage.
No, the emotional damage. I know that like we're kind of skipping down the list a little bit. The way that they queued up the Spider-Man PC port was so fantastic. And now a PlayStation hit that everyone's excited for is coming to PC. And there's like a full 2-3 seconds Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Bastards.
They knew what they were doing.
100% knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I mean, because it's also interesting that the Spider-Man one was revealed here, because weren't there leaks of like 2 other PlayStation exclusives that were going to come to PC?
And the Sackboy.
Sackboy, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Leaked,
yeah,
but I'm sure they're still coming.
Probably. We just didn't see either of those, right?
Yeah, it's just weird to see some stuff we didn't see. In Ragnarok, I wonder, they're probably going to do what they did with Horizon, right? Where it got its own thing, where they talked about just that for a while.
Yeah, it's what it has to be, right? It's probably going to be like 20, 30 full, longer, uncut minutes.
Yeah, some extended gameplay.
Yeah.
Thing.
Just be
I would be
him walking around a really empty open world that looks like a tech demo.
We're talking about God of War, not Sonic.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, that's later in the podcast.
There will also be a small child there that he'll be verbally berating.
Hey, he's older now.
He's wiser.
He's 3 years older.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they started off with an absolute bang. Resident Evil 4 remake. Everyone was expecting it, but it's so cool to see Leon
the industry's
back.
Worst kept secret.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those. It's like, they did one, and they've been remaking all of them recently.
Yeah. Well, so here's a good question, I think. Everyone was wanting a Final Fantasy VII remake for years, and we finally got it. And then after that, I think the attention shifted to Resident Evil 4 remake, which is now happening. What's the next like golden goose?
For remake?
Ape Escape remake. That's the big one. Yeah. Everyone's clamoring for it.
Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect as it is.
That would be huge.
They'd fuck it up. I don't want to get into the weeds.
They'd fuck it up
on
but
Melee.
That would mean that they wouldn't try.
But they would fuck it up. There's so many things that are excluded, like Melee. Anyway, I can go on for Melee. That's a bad idea.
Yeah. I want a remake of Dino Crisis, but all of the dinosaurs are feathered now.
Wait, isn't that coming? Isn't Capcom actually, like, they're making a dinosaur or something, right?
Yeah, it was, everybody was like, oh shit, it's Dino Crisis, but it's not.
Yeah, and it has a very generic name, right? Like Bio Exo something.
Exo something.
Yeah.
We all just assumed that's what it was.
Exo Primal.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
God, that's such a edge. Like that was a PS2 game, I'm sure. Like, that was a bargain bin PS2 game. Exo Primal.
Oh yeah, but no, we're getting Resident Evil 4 remake. It looks a lot like, I mean, what you would imagine it to be, right? Like, it's like really pretty, but you get all those snippets of the cutscenes that are so iconic, right? We're also getting Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village in PSVR 2.
Yeah,
full VR.
Dami Mommy in VR.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who have been picking apart that Resident Evil 4 remake trailer, and like, you know, the sigil that the blood drips down on looks like the sigil of like the 4 main houses from Village and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of theorizing whether there's going to be some continuity linking there, and whether like Las Plagas is an early experimentation of the mold, the parasite.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
That'd be kind of cool for them to intermingle.
Mm-hmm.
But this means that we're going to get Resident Evil 5 remake next with punching a boulder in UHD. And then Resident Evil 6 remake. It's only going to go up from here, guys.
Yeah, you can't make 6 any worse, I think.
Now that I think about it, the remake that is probably the one everybody wants to know is probably the first Red Dead Redemption. Everybody wants.
But that's the second Red Dead. What are you talking about?
I said the
Gotta
first
get
Red
that
Dead
UHD
Redemption.
Red Dead Revolver.
Nobody talks about that game.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited about with the RE4 remake is we've seen, RE2 and 3, and clearly Capcom is interested in making changes. Like, they're not just doing necessarily 100% faithful recreations, but tweaking a few things, right? Not like radically, at least with 2. So I'm curious what the little things are going to be, in 4.
Hopefully you don't have to stand still to aim your gun.
We'll see. I could go either way on that one, personally.
That was back in the days of, your controller potentially only had one thumbstick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think that'll be really cool to
RE4 is
see.
like one where it went a lot more actiony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leon can roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
Leon's fucking Chuck
And jump out
Norris.
windows.
House kicking, he's got the knife. They'll make a fully fledged mini game out of the inventory management.
This just made me think of Chuck Norris memes. Remember those?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go back to when Resident Evil 4 came out.
Let's go back to
The
Baron's
original.
chat.
Yeah.
That's like, oh god, that was what I was thinking of. I don't know if other people were thinking that.
Yeah, I hear Chuck Norris jokes and I immediately get teleported to the Barons of World of Warcraft.
Sitting in Crossroads.
Yeah, just chilling in Crossroads as somebody pulls a dragon in and wipes a bunch of level 10 characters.
Oh man, Grandpa's reminiscing again.
Yeah. Do you guys hear that though? It's the call of the mountain. Horizon is we got more the PlayStation VR for.
I want to go back to Chuck
Horizon.
Norris.
Okay, we can go back.
Chuck Norris versus Robot Dinosaur.
Let's talk
Who
about
would
Walker,
win?
Texas Ranger. Forget these games.
Right.
The Horizon VR looked really pretty.
It
Yeah.
did.
It's going to
we saw
be
gameplay.
quite a visual spectacle. Like the game itself is just not VR, but seeing that through VR is going to look pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm finding it a little hard to get super excited for the PSVR 2 thing. Well, just because we don't know when that's happening.
You think with how much that's just focused on VR, it's got to be around the corner,
It's got to be
right?
this holiday
It's got to be a
season.
holiday season thing.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Saints and Sinners, the new
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead game, did announce that its release date was going to be 2022.
Okay, so
And that's a built for VR exclusive. So they've at least flagged that it's going to be this year.
Okay.
Not counting if there's any, I don't know, we've already seen what production of hardware is looking like at the moment.
yeah,
Um,
true.
So it'll be interesting to see how that transitions to.
Get ready to sit in a
VR
waiting
headsets.
queue again.
Yeah.
Well, because that's
Everyone
the thing.
make sure that you're subscribed to Wario64 on Twitter.
Yeah, shameless plug. I mean, that's the thing though, right? Is right now, I mean, Sony is still they're barely keeping up with the demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are more people out there who want a PS5 than there are people who have PS5s, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they did
is
recently
this
say in there so the investor
super
thing or
ramping?
whatever, they said they were going to ramp it up like crazy.
Mhm.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, and I mean that'd be great, but then I'm still thinking if you're the install base for the PSVR 2, you inherently have to have a PS5, right? It's not backwards compatible.
About 20
the
million
device
of them
itself.
out there now.
Yeah, so your install base isn't as big as the PS4's current install base, which I mean, kind of unfair comparison. The PS4's been out for 8 years, but it's I wonder from an ROI perspective if they're waiting on when to release the VR2,
Maybe they've been doing the whole we're releasing on PS4 and PS5, so maybe it would be you could play it on PSVR also just through the 4.
Maybe. Yeah.
With that in mind, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but then it's not just the headset that you have to think about, but also then the controllers, because
It's true.
they'd need to make sure that that anything that you would want to do in these new PSVR 2 controllers, you can also do with your PlayStation Move controllers.
Right.
And where the accuracy will be for that and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of somewhat similar. I know that Half-Life Alyx, you could play on whatever headset, but like the difference between the Vive or the Oculus's controllers were so wildly different, and whether that would be something that they would want to factor in, or whether they just want to push people onto the next platform.
I don't know. It's one of those. I've always been happy to see PSVR exist and that they're committed to it, because it will be the reason that VR succeeds, in the mainstream, because all the other stuff is so inaccessible. It's so expensive, and a lot of times you have to have a powerful computer to do it. I guess the Quest 2 has done a pretty good job of being a self-contained consumer device.
Yeah.
But with PlayStation, is obviously so tied to gaming. I think that's the surest bet to make it be a normal thing that people have. And it is such a cool thing. I don't have a VR headset or anything, but I've had the opportunities to use them. And it's like the potential for where this could go is still so fucking crazy to me that I definitely want to see more time and investment put into it.
That's just made me want Ape Escape VR. That would be an absolute delight to play.
That would actually be really awesome.
Maybe that's the next Ape Escape venture.
There we go.
Right?
Just whacking apes with your fucking stun baton and then netting them. Man,
Yeah.
that'd be so satisfying.
Oh, yeah. We also got another trailer for Stray, along with a release date for it. That's coming out in July, which I think that was leaked, right, by a store page, if I remember right.
Something.
Yeah.
I think it might have just even been previously announced.
Oh,
Could have been.
Might have, I think what we saw in this trailer was more to do with the world building, the idea of like the police drones and the kind of stealth elements that will be in the game.
Yeah, you're
and the weird like rat drones in the
Solid
sewer.
Snake the cat.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very interested in this game. I mean, for when you play as a cute kitty, which, like, how can you go wrong? But then it's Anna. Thank you for this stretch. It's Anna Perna publishing this. And, they always publish weird games, which, like, in a good way,
Unusual.
Also, they publish weird games, and their games never overstay their welcome. You're going to get a good, tight 4 or 5 hours out of it, and that'll be what you want. And then you'll just move on from there.
Yeah, there's so much about even with take the cat out of it, which I know that's what most people are like. Fucking, I'm a cat. That's cool as hell. Like I don't know, the world of it is so interesting to me. Of these computer people with these faces that reminds me. What's it, that comic Saga? Reminds me of those people.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. Hopefully not as fucking degenerate as those people, but they're the fucking worst. But
a little bit, yeah.
I do like the world, and I like the idea that these computer people sitting around and like there's just desktops sitting around places and like towers for computers that just look like stuff that we have. So I don't know. I'm very much into the world of it, and like what the hell, what's giving this cat agency? What is happening? Or is it just you're just like, I'm a cat, I'll do whatever the fuck I want? I don't know.
It honestly could go either way for me, and
either way I'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw a bit more of Callisto Protocol, and that's coming out in December, early December. You might know this as the Dead Space spiritual successor because it smells, and talks like a Dead Space. Yeah. Like, even got the health bar on the back.
Jumps out at you like a Dead Space.
It really does.
It looks like what's that other survival horror game that
Resident
is like
Evil?
all about tight corridors and stuff?
What?
There's 2 of them.
Dead Space 2?
No, never mind. Keep talking.
I don't know. I love Dead Space. I think, a lot of us are familiar with how visceral has been treated at EA, and now they're not even a studio anymore, right?
Bastards.
And like Dead Space kind of went down that, it's got to be more like Call of Duty rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at 3 and it's just an action game basically. So
Condemned. I was thinking of Condemned.
Oh.
Yeah,
It reminds me a lot of Condemned, as well as, of course, Dead Space.
I will act like I know what that is.
Yeah, same. But no,
Well, and then we're now
down.
also still getting more Dead Space 2. So we'll get a
That's right. Dead Space
fight
remake.
between the Dead Space clones.
Although the remake's forever off, right? It's not coming out.
It's 2023.
Oh, that's right. It's
allegedly.
January, so it's right
Yeah.
after.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah,
We didn't get
so-
a release date for the new Dead Space remake.
You know, I wonder if Callisto Protocol was going to aim for later, but then they're like,
Yeah,
they saw
because
like it
not
was
a
a
lot of
deadline.
games come out in December. Like the last big one I can remember was Smash Ultimate was a December release.
Yeah, or well, Halo Infinite.
What's that?
Halo Infinite.
Yeah, that was like a December, wasn't it?
It
I was talking about
December
meaningful
or something.
games that were good and stuff.
No, I agree.
Wow. The campaign was good.
But, well,
So Rollerdrome is the
yeah.
Well, so actually, Callisto Protocol is December 2nd, and Dead Space Remake is January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're back on back.
Yeah, it's just like a
That'll be fun.
month before, right?
So if you're into that sort of thing, get into the holiday spirits and play some of that.
Wasn't Dead Rising 4 also a Christmas game?
It was a Christmassy, yeah.
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 But that
some
definitely
reason.
fits that the mood of that.
The tongue-in-cheek nature, yeah.
But yeah, Rollerdrome, like you brought up, Otten, that looks like My Friend Pedro in 3D, but also art style is very. I don't even know how to
It's
describe
like
that.
it
It's
looks
Sable.
like Sable, yeah. That's what I was saying. It
Yeah.
looks kind of like the Sable. It's this cartoony 3D, not quite cell shady, but like essence of cell shadiness going on. I love the look of it. It's a gorgeous looking game. It's one, like I was saying before we started recording. It's like, this is why video games exist.
Yeah.
They're on fucking rollerblades shooting people. What's not to
Yeah.
like? Like,
I mean, it just
I
looks
was
so fun.
I spent the whole time watching the trailer wondering whether it was possible to wipe out. Because it was all like a beautifully cut together trailer and stuff.
yeah.
But I wondered if there might be more of like a Tony Hawk aspect of like, hey, if you're like still slow motion shooting as you're coming down, like you're just gonna hit the floor and have to like start building the momentum up again.
Start eating shit. Places.
Yeah, because
skid
it's made
across
by
the
the
ground.
Ollie Ollie devs, right? So
Yeah, roll 7.
yeah, because I know with Ollie Ollie, it's like a fairly like easy to learn, hard to master sort of thing with like how you pull off the tricks. So I wonder if it's the same here, where you could probably do some easy flips, but then like if you really want to do some sick shit, it's gonna be hard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they
it
say
was-
tricks are part of it, so I mean, you'll be landing tricks and trying to pull off tricks and stuff. So maybe that will be something got to balance.
Was for one of like the smaller games there, I definitely think it like grabbed my attention a lot more than some of the other stuff.
Even
Definitely.
more than Eternites.
I mean, Eternites, I just as a absolute weeb, I think that looks like fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could say that game pressed R2 to grab your hand.
it's
I will happily play that.
it's taking the Persona formula of some. I mean, it's not Persona's not a dating sim, but it's close enough for the for the
Sure.
stuff outside of it, and putting in some actiony RPG stuff in the middle of it. So
Like, I mean, so
it's got an audience.
already so many anime games are like all about, you know, the main character building up his harem of companions
Yeah.
along the way, and this just like focuses that further with the action RPG combat, and then like, yeah, let me accidentally topple over onto you, and you know, suddenly we're having a moment and we've gone from 3D graphics to beautifully illustrated 2D animation style.
For sure. Speaking of beautiful animation, Street Fighter? Can we talk about Street Fighter?
Listen, Street Fighter is going to be my Elden Ring of 2023, where I'm very excited to play it, play about 25 minutes, suck, and give up.
Fair.
So, yep.
So the story mode though, that looks
Open
pretty
world?
neat.
Yeah.
That was what drew
like-
me in. I was like, wait, I'm going to get to run around?
No, that's you guys are
You're
falling
telling me
for
I
the
can go.
you're falling
go
for the
forward?
metaverse. Don't fall for it.
Oh, this is a
You're
Street
gonna
Fighter
get
6
burned.
metaverse.
Yeah, it's gonna be some open world bullshit. Like it's not even. It's just be the hub where you like go over here to play online. Go over here to fucking whatever.
But like, what if I can run around as Ken and just beat the shit out of random people on the streets?
Wait, no.
It's like GTA meets Street Fighter.
But if it's what Otten's talking about, I'm gonna fucking hate that because that looks that looks so intricate that like that's even worse than the way Arc System's been doing it with like Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mm-hmm. Like I bet you that's what's gonna be.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I think if like, it does end up that overworld was just like this is the main menu that you have to run around. That would be very disappointing. From the trailer, what I read that as is like, you pick a fighter and you like start your way at the bottom doing like street fights, and then you build your way up across the story continuity.
This is a good time for me to bring in. We're talking more about Madden later, but Madden did some similar stuff to this bullshit of where like here you play up from high school to whatever, and we'll give you some bullshit scenes of meeting an agent.
Was that the one from a couple years ago you're talking
They've
about?
done it a few times.
Yeah,
like NBA did it, and I think
NBA also did it too.
Right?
No. Even with Spike Lee involved, it wasn't very good. I played it.
It's a Spike Lee story.
It was Spike Lee, yeah. And it even had what's his face? The Falcon.
Dana Carvey?
Falcon.
Long Shot. That's what it was called.
Can't remember the actor's name.
Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, he was in it.
Yeah,
and they've even had one where Mahershala Ali was in it as your friend buddy. Anyway,
and
they all
Jake
fucking
from State
suck.
Farm in it?
Probably somewhere.
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
And the new one. But anyway, they're always like bare bones. I'm not saying that's what this is going to be. It just gave me that vibe of where it's like, okay, you'll have these little story moments where that they're like, here's a story battle. But I wouldn't go into it like, this is going to be a fully experience thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering because I remember Tekken 4 had like a fully 3D like action game thing, story mode thing, where you play as Kazuya, I think, or it might have been Jin, I forget. One of the people with the duckbill hair, and I wonder if this might tap into that.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was like more. You'd have set missions.
Yeah,
it'd be like more linear, and like you would have full 3D movement, and then as you got near an enemy, it would like lock you into a 2D like
kind of
traditional Tekken fighting.
Yeah.
Like that in and of itself seems like a different way to do it rather than going through like a menu-based story mode, like having stuff to explore. That was what kind of pulled me in originally, was like, okay, so it's not just I'm going from fight to fight, there's a world for me to explore. But if it is like shallow, like a lot of the shared areas that we're seeing more and more of, where instead of using, a graphical user interface, you run from point A to point B to do the next thing, that would be super disappointing.
For sure. But I think all of that aside, just as a whole, that 3-minute trailer, absolutely hype. Like that was a good trailer.
Fantastic.
I remember
complete fire.
Like all of us in the Slack were just like, well, actually that was rad as hell. That was actually pretty cool, right? It just looks good. The art style is amazing, and they ditched the wide Ryu shot, which I'm good because that means it can't be memed on.
You know what else they ditched? The original logo.
They did. Now it actually looks way better.
Yes, it actually is a logo.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm digging Ryu's new look.
I agree.
That's kind of like that more masterful look to him with the bit of beard going on and stuff. It looks like time has passed for the first time ever in Street Fighter.
No, it hasn't though, right? We're
going back. We're going into the past. This is not future. As I've established before.
I take back everything
Street
that
Fighter
I just complimented.
Yeah, Third Strike takes place before. This is when they got. Didn't you see they look a little younger and like with hipper clothes and hip hop stuff? It's supposed to be their young days.
Oh,
it goes back to the Third Strike. Because you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Third Strike. That's what we're going to.
For sure.
Yeah, Ryu still has the beard though, which I'm in for this.
Hey, he looks like Oh, like fucking Carl Urban and the boys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Season 3
Can't remember the character's name. Billy Butcher.
Billy Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher.
Yeah. That show's fucking great, by the way. If anybody
that first episode, great.
Well.
I too have watched The Boys. But no, I'm excited for this. I think before on the pod I've mentioned like Street Fighter is one of the fighting games I didn't get into. It didn't click with me. I've tried 4 and 5, so I want to try 6 on launch. I want to feel it. I want to see if I can really dig my nails in, because that looks.
I wonder if
cool.
so. I don't know a lot about it, but I wonder if it goes back to more of the fighting style of like a Third Strike, if it's taking on the aesthetic of it too. Because I know that those are quite a bit different than like a mainstay Street Fighter. So we'll see. I'm not a big fighting game dude, but
yeah.
Another interesting tidbit about Street Fighter 6 is that it's going to be on Xbox.
Yes.
That's right.
So
but not
they have
Xbox
moved,
One.
Yeah, not Xbox One, but it is on PS4. But yeah, skipped Street Fighter 5, but Capcom has just been like, yeah, like we're back, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess Sony didn't see enough of a return on whatever exclusivity they worked out for the previous one.
Oh.
I mean, I think that might help too, because I remember 5 launched in a pretty poor state. I know it now after all the updates and everything, it's decent, but yeah. They ended the Sony State of Play with a big one, Final Fantasy XVI 16.
Yes.
We got another lengthy trailer and no release window.
Summer 2023.
Summer 2023, that's right, but no release date. But we got a year until Final Fantasy 16, and we know that game is allegedly fully playable, start to finish. I see Stretch is playing Stray. Yeah, so it is playable, but I mean, polish, et cetera, right? Like, it's going to take time.
It looks great.
It does.
That trailer was hype.
It's everything. So, all right. So Final Fantasy 15, there's a lot of it I hated. Like a lot of it. But what Final Fantasy is always really good at is those like, holy shit, this is epic as fuck moments of like a boss battle or something with crazy music. And that's all this trailer was like, holy shit, there's that. And holy shit, there's that, just over and over again. And that's exactly all I need Final Fantasy to be. And this seems to be that.
Yeah. And this is like a superstar of a dev team working on this game. Like, you have Yoshi P from Final Fantasy 14.
That's
right? He's the head of this. And from my understanding, he's like a perfectionist. So I am imagining 16 is going to come out in a pretty good state. You have the combat lead, I think, or combat designer from Devil May Cry 5, which that alone is enough to excite me. And then you have the guy who did the music for 14 as well, Soken, which if you hear some of the tracks, especially from like the recent expansions, it's going to be so good.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, seemingly you like play as one of the summons or something, or you're involved with them, like you're the human form of them.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but it seems that way.
It almost feels like it has a bit of like Power Rangers energy to it almost.
Interesting.
No.
The idea.
No.
They're Mighty Morphin Final Fantasy Rangers.
Oh, you've just keyed into Power Rangers was like my thing when I was a kid. Is this why I like this? Oh, I've just realized something about myself. Oh no.
You like Power Rangers?
Not now, but I fucking was down with Power Rangers, man.
I mean,
that idea of like taking a whole bunch of anime pretty boys with attitude and letting them, make my monsters grow into Bahamut, Ifrit, all of these like huge colossal summons.
Yeah, I mean,
normally seeing all of these summons for a Final Fantasy game, I would think like, oh, well, this is like 3/4 of the way through the story, almost near the end. I have a feeling that everything that we've seen so far is going to be like the first hour of the game or something. Like, we're just going to like launch into combat between just these immensely, stupidly powerful beings. Yeah, and it will take off from there.
Well, I think this isn't the first time Final Fantasy's done like attaching a summon specifically to a character, because I know, and that this might sour you a bit, I know Final Fantasy 13 did this with the Eidolons, where each character was their own, like Lightning had Odin, and Snow had Shiva, like that. Those were the pairings that were done. So this isn't the first time we're seeing it, but I'm very excited to see it in this space with the Devil May Cry style combat.
I hate this game now. I don't want to play.
Maybe they do something cool, like, if you're playing as the character who can become Ifrit, almost like JoJo-esque, to get like...
You're pulling me back. You're pulling me back.
A slight manifestation of Ifrit around you, like sending out a fire attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting like Persona.
It'll be interesting to see, what that really allows you to do to like spec out your character differently. It's not like you'll be able to have the character that turns into the giant raging fire monster, and you're casting Thundaga, or whether you'll be able to like swap between party members and like switch loadouts, kind of.
Oh, yeah. There's like weird moments in this trailer too, where like there's two summons fighting each other, and they have their own health bars, and they're doing crazy shit. So like, what is that like? Seems like totally separate thing, like that's going on.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have a sidekick that likes cooking again?
I hope we do.
I hope not. That dude was up to some gnarly shit. If you guys paid attention to when I played, he was drugging those kids, man.
I mean, probably a little.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, what I just want to see is more of the final boss fight from Final Fantasy 15. Like, say what you will like or don't like about the game, that final boss fight was pretty cool. Just from a coolness perspective,
they're always cool with boss fights.
It was not a good boss fight.
It was not a good. It was not the fun fight. But as a like just from I'm watching an anime kind of vibe, it is very much that.
Oh yeah, they're always good with that.
Big Ashura's Wrath energy.
Yes, and I want more of that kind of vibe.
I just want more of. I wish another one would get back to the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, the first one. And whatever, I forgot the move that Sephiroth uses.
Suplexing a train. That's just...
I said
it should just be a thing.
The whatever move Sephiroth used in the last battle, where it's like a 1.5-minute cutscene of it just blowing up worlds as it comes to you. That's so fucking rad. And nothing has quite hit that height since then. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 16 is going to be pretty good. I'm so excited for that game.
Looks good.
Just one more year. Let's shift gears and talk about something that's also very, very good, that we're all here equally excited about, and we're all
excited
going to play
talk
day
about
one.
it.
No, we're all going to play it and enjoy it, because I am very excited for Sonic Frontiers.
Full disclosure, I'm 100% going to play this game.
I am actually going to play this game too.
Oh boy.
Sonic Frontiers. Sega has paired up with IGN to give some sneak peeks at the game, and by sneak peeks I mean full 7-minute like videos, multiple of them. We saw one that was like Sonic running around the world, and another one that focused purely on combat.
The combat one, man.
This just whenever video game PR companies have to flip a coin and decide whether they want to create their own heavily curated trailer to show off the most positive aspects of their game, or whether they want to just like let people come up with content and share that, this is the golden standard for why you should let PR handle your PR. Because these 7-minute videos have not been kind.
No. When he jumped, I basically just stopped watching when he jumped up on top of that giant boss, and then after that I was like, what is happening? What am I even punching? First of all, how did I know to punch it? Like, there's no HUD that is like, this is the enemy. You just jump up there and you start hitting shit, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Mm-hmm. But then you have a paintbrush like Okami, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they forgot to say this game comes with a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Where you swipe,
It's the sequel to Pokemon Ranger.
Yeah. I think the most positive thing I can say is that there are some bits in the combat where it's like, okay, they're playing on Sonic's strengths. Like okay, the thing where he like does do the paintbrush thing, right? Where you paint a circle around the enemies and like when you make the full circle, it launches them up. Yeah. I think that's a smart use of movement as combat, right?
That was cool.
Yeah, and running up the side of the boss and how you have to like go follow the blue rings and avoid the red rings, like that's another like combat as movement as combat. That is the end of my positive thoughts on Sonic Frontiers so far.
And they've got the standards like the homing attack, and on like that weird like multi-eyeballed thing, it was like, oh, you just homing attack it for a bit. And then it took like 8 rounds of homing attacking it, and it's like, well, this is just dragging on.
Yeah.
And then every now and then he would do like 3 homing attacks, and then the camera would whip pan away to watch Sonic disappear, reappear, and then come in with a flying kick, and that's disorienting. I don't want to look entirely away from the enemy that I am fighting to watch a character come in with a simple kick and have that be apparently on repeat, because that happened like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Just to kill one thing.
Yeah, I'm really, really hoping that this is early. The fact that we don't have any UI on the screen, I'm hoping that that's not just a minimalist stylistic choice. I'm hoping that that's just because so much is still pending.
Boy, you're being so very charitable.
No, I am. I 100% am. Because I definitely want the most out of this. But what IGN has a month's worth of content for this game that they're going to be slowly releasing. There's 0 for 2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's for the whole month.
It, right? Because
it's got to be a crime or something. It's criminal.
But it's just like a new trailer drops and someone drops it into the Slack and we all look at it. We're all excited. We want this to be a good game. And it's just, oof.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. There have been...
Why
have we all seen Chip and Dale here? There are moments where, memeing on Sonic is very fun. This is not one of them.
Yeah, when's Ugly Sonic going to get his own game?
Yes.
I want to play that.
Well, it's like we had said before. You said that the fans are petitioning them to delay it or whatever, or do something.
Yeah.
Well, there's precedent, right? Giving the fans what they want.
Also, like Sonic and the enemy designs just don't match the environment.
Yeah. That's always been my problem with a lot of Sonic, is that in a lot of Sonic games, the enemies are just like, here's a fucking weird thing. It's like, this doesn't like cohesively look like it belongs with Sonic at all.
Mm-mm. Well, when you come up to the enemies in the combat trailer, it just, why is this thing here? What is it doing? Like, why does it look nothing like the environment around it?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's like you have this really nice, this is such a strange thing to say, this really nice grass, and then you have this like very smooth 3D Sonic and very smooth like 3D enemies. And it's like, it feels out of place.
It's like
someone pulled a map chunk out of Death Stranding,
yes.
Plucked Sonic out of one of his games, and then like plucked some like generic mech enemies out of like a Metroid game or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And just threw them all together. Yeah, and it looks like a Unity project.
Somebody heard the meme touch grass, and they didn't know what to do with it after they got the grass part.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've touched the grass, what do I do now?
The pop-in for all of the design elements is also pretty questionable. That also feels like it's
that could be early though.
Yeah,
early jank.
That's how I chalk that up too.
In that movement trailer, the guy playing, whoever was playing, didn't seem to be letting Sonic do much falling, opting instead for like the ground kick, and he'd like hit the ground and then you would see elements pop in.
Yeah. Well, and there's one spot where he was fighting the big enemy. I have no idea what it's called, obviously, where he hit it a couple times and then suddenly you're teleported away from it, like just no context at all, and then shoot back towards it. It's about 3/4 of the way into the video, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Like, there's maybe it would help if we saw what was happening from a UI or a control standpoint, but a lot of the stuff without the context felt off.
And it's so weird to have this real environment, and then it's like, oh, there's just some fucking rails floating in the sky that are Sonic, that Sonic goes on,
or like
it's
just platforms,
such a clashing thing. Like, I'm all for the idea of I think it's a good idea if you're gonna do an open world Sonic thing of having little pockets of cool Sonic shit that happen, like a little thing that goes on. But this does, I don't know, at least what they showed, because it's guided like we can't explore it ourselves. It doesn't feel like that. It's like, okay, I went fast here, and that got me up to there. And end of that thing, I guess, that experience. I don't know. Not feeling it.
Big 06 energy.
Very much big 06 energy.
Excuse me, that is an avant-garde masterpiece.
It is.
Referring to an article that is no longer on our site.
Oh, it was a masterpiece in its storytelling, not in its gameplay, to be fair.
Right.
That kiss, though.
There was one other positive thing I did like when I saw it. There are moments in the movement trailer when Sonic's just running, and then he's like kind of running against the wall, and then like kind of starts wall running on it, and like that looked really natural and smooth. And it gave me that same feeling of when you see like in Breath of the Wild, Link can climb anything. Like if Sonic can run on anything, that's kind of exciting and interesting, maybe. But I look at all of Sonic's animations here, and lest we forget, Sonic was like the OG like 2D Sonic. His sprites had so much personality, right? Like if you sit around, he like looks at you and is like, the fuck you doing? If you're about to fall off a ledge, he like is like, whoa, 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 right? This Sonic is dead inside. This 3D model, you look into his eyes and you see hell. Yeah. And when he runs, his running animation is so stiff. And that's what he does probably 90% of this game. So it's like, if you're not giving him personality in his animations, that's going to hurt the game so much in the long run, let alone all of this other stuff we've been talking about.
Maybe he's actually Metal Sonic, and this is all just like faking us out. Like the skin's going to peel away in like some fiery section.
It's kind of like Phantom Pain.
It's going to have been, Metal Sonic all the time.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I would just say, like, get this away from Team Sonic. This IP deserves more.
It does.
Like, Sonic should be such a bigger IP. You guys fucking suck. The movies, you're lucky the movies are panning out and that you got Jim Carrey cast as Robotnik. That's all I'll say. You got lucky.
Yeah.
Sonic should be more.
You know what else should be more? Fucking Pokemon, man.
It should be. Pokemon fucking suck. I'm on record saying Game Freak is a garbage company a couple weeks ago or something, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They are.
Well, let's back up a bit. Pokemon Crimson and Violet, Pokemon Red and Purple, as I like to call it.
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet, yeah.
Oh, it is Scarlet, not Crimson, isn't it? Okay. I'm just going to keep calling it
Red.
I'm calling it Red and Purple.
That's the third fucking Red game they've had now.
Yeah.
Red, Ruby, Scarlet now.
Yeah. You actually put Crimson in this sheet. That's great.
I did put Crimson, yeah. Because I was like, in my mind, I was like, it's probably Crimson. I don't know. It's a red of some kind.
Come on, there's only been Red, Fire Red, Ruby, Omega Ruby, Scarlet.
Come on.
But Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we got another trailer, and it's coming out November 18. We got the confirmed release date.
There's really only one thing we need to talk about, and that is the majesty of Lechonk.
Lechonk he's a top tier Pokemon. Just not gonna lie.
Chef's kiss.
Top 10 all time already. Top 10 all time.
A little pig called Lechonk, and I can't wait to see its evolutions, Chonkster.
No, they're not gonna live up. Lechonk is just so perfect as is. It's gonna become a bigger, fatter pig. Oh no!
I've seen the first fan art I saw was by Rubber Ross, who did Lechonk as the big chungus meat, and it was just perfect.
Lechonk is pretty good, I will say.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if we want to talk about Pokemon improvements, full-on multiplayer, how awesome is that?
Yeah, that is
just
awesome.
like open world multiplayer kind of thing.
That's also, I was chatting about it with some of my friends as well, and what that will mean for like the idea of exclusive Pokemon, version exclusive Pokemon, is just pretty much going to like incentivize people more to like open up their game, play with random people online and stuff. It's like, oh, I need to catch this Pokemon. Well, I don't need to bother about jumping through XYZ hoop.
Wait,
I'll just join someone else's game and play in that world and fight that exclusive. What I would really hope would be if you have two people playing together in each other's world, whether that just combines the Pokemon pools of the areas to make like a true version almost.
And then when they release the companion app that you can download, and then through a code of where your friends meet up, you can enter that code into the companion app and talk to each other after you plug in a microphone, because you can't use the microphone in the phone. You got to use it for something else, so you can talk to each other.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything really about any changes to that part of Nintendo Online. I know that Fortnite just ignored it, and they got the microphones working in game.
Yeah, I also haven't heard much about Pokemon changing. Besides the multiplayer stuff, everything I've seen in that trailer looked very much like Sword and Shield to me in terms of execution.
Yeah, I guess a lot of the Sword and Shield trailers were kind of misleading about the wild area. With thinking that it would be like the whole game would be like that when it was only a certain section. But this one having it's once again they're taking a half step. Like they know where they want to go, but instead of leaping from previous Pokemon games all the way up to Scarlet and Violet, they're instead they made the half step to wild areas, and then they introduced wild areas to a 2D, like the top-down game for a remake. Then they did Arceus, which was zoned but free roam, and now they're going full free roam. And it's just like they got there.
Yeah,
it took some coaxing, but they got there.
What I'm also curious about too is I think this is going to be the first year, at least that I can think of, where we're getting 2 or technically 3 mainline Pokemon games in a year, because Arceus was January, right?
Was it really?
Yeah, it was January.
Yeah.
And then here we are near the end of the year, we're getting Scarlet and Violet. So it'll be kind of interesting to see like what's the best Pokemon game of the year when they're 2 very different ones,
It's good of them that they're diversifying so much to avoid the idea of like the pumping out a new edition of a game every single year, as well as giving people a chance to like open up and try more things. Still might be worth waiting a little bit longer. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna ever complain about having more Pokemon content.
Fair.
I get really annoyed by I've said before, they're the most valuable media franchise in the fucking world by like a lot. And they get like, people are like, oh my god, you finally have this feature that a lot of games have had for decades. Let's pat Pokemon on the fucking back for doing something minimal again, as they do this incremental shit all the time. That's what's so irritating, is that it should be so much more. I'm always disappointed by their lack of ambition. It's so disappointing.
They put their ambitions to rest, you could say.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating. Is that even with all the new stuff and additions, like it's still an extremely close experience to what I played when I first played Blue and Red. Obviously, there's a lot of new stuff into it, but it's not too far from that. Still,
yeah, Blue and Red didn't have Lechonk.
That's right.
Facts.
They had Mankey.
I wonder how much of that is like company guidelines or something too. Like, how much can you fuck with the formula?
I don't know, because like I know that a Pokemon Company is a separate entity that like does stuff, but it's such a disappointment when you see other big name Nintendo franchises. Like, look at Mario. Mario is always trying to weird shit when a new game comes out, and Zelda adds a bunch of stuff. So it's always like, man, obviously they come out less frequently, but
they do. I think they do add new mechanics and stuff to Mario and Zelda. It's so much easier to add something that is as defining as like Mario Galaxy, and you can walk all the way around a planet. They do always introduce new things, but the new things that they add generally have to do with combat. That I think there's less wiggle room, or at least everything can kind of blur together. Because yeah, if you do take like the original Pokemon Red and Blue and compare them to even like Sword and Shield, the formula's there, but if you look at all of those little increments together, they do get to the difference between like Mario and Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like Mario 64 to Mario Galaxy, there's honestly not too much different there aside from the gravity aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know I give Pokemon like a hard time often because like to me, I don't see that much change going on, or an evolution, pun not intended, of the franchise. But I also think that there is something to be said for Pokemon in that it's a lot like you know what you're getting, and when you're in the mood for that, it always kind of hits right. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of a Pokemon, like a mainline Pokemon game that's bad because like they fucked up the formula. It's more like, oh, I've had this meal before and I'm bored of it. That's usually the complaint I see. Not like the meal itself was incorrectly prepared.
Yeah, because they're not brave enough to do that. God forbid they stray anyway.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, in some ways, maybe the more I see of it, the more I'll be like, maybe I'll try and pick up Violet and see just how it feels to play a Pokemon game again. But that's kind of just where my head's at with it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'll probably wait and see. I liked Arceus a lot, just from the kind of exploration and the mechanics. It felt just like something different. I'll be curious to see this one, and if there are kind of some newer elements to the formula we've become used to, it'll probably draw me back in.
For sure. Well, let's shift.
Do it. Just take a small bump. Just take a small bump of that Pokemon again.
You'll enjoy a small hit.
You'll get back into it.
You won't
even like scratching his neck.
I took a small hit when I played Shield, and I didn't even get to the second gym, and I was like, I'm done.
That's what I said. I don't think you're gonna get like multiple gyms in.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. Let's shift over and talk about some games. Rut, do you want to tell us a little bit about Dwerve? Is it Dwerve?
Dwerve. Yeah, so
very interesting.
This one's been on my radar for a while. It's a mix of kind of action and tower defense, where you play this little dwarf that goes on a big adventure.
Cute.
Yeah, it's delightful. The music is superb. The environments are just simple and interesting. But basically the mechanics are you place different types of like traps and towers of a sort. You're like a dwarven war master. It's like you're learning the ability to create these traps. And you have a limited number that you can create. And as you make your way through each level, you're kind of presented with different challenges that force you to switch up, because you can only carry 4 different types of traps. And at least as far as I'm in now, which is about 5-6 hours, you can really only place like 3 at a time if you're placing like full-size traps or towers, and then sometimes like a tar pit or whatever. But it's pretty chill for what it is. It's not like there are like these frantic moments where you accidentally alert the guards and then you just get bum rushed and die. Like it gives there is this element of you've got to make the right choices in certain areas. If you have the wrong traps down, you're going to get mollywopped by a troll. But it's just this delightful little game where you're going on this adventure with these light tower defense mechanics, some light puzzles, nothing crazy intricate. And it's just, for the 6 hours I've played so far, I've really been enjoying it. And I have no idea how long it is. So I could be almost at the end and not really even know it.
That sounds pretty cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so you say it's tower defense, but also you alert guards. So is it like you're breaking into a place or something?
Yeah. So at one point you're rescuing somebody. And so you're creeping into an area. And you don't want to alert the guards because they have these giant bells that if they get to before you can kill them, they alert others, and then you just get like swarmed, and no matter what you do with your traps, you will not survive. But we gave it a pretty solid review. I think we gave it an 8. But it is a lot of fun if you like the tower defense genre, and you're looking for something kind of chill and delightful. It's not very expensive. It's like $15 or something.
How tower defensey is it? Because like when I was looking at it, it's like you're placing towers down, but is there like a path that people run through, or is it towers just the mechanic of you doing damage to things?
So as you make your way through the levels, these like huts will spawn, and out of those huts spawn different kinds of enemies, and there'll be an icon over the hut that kind of indicates what type of enemy. So like, for example, there's one that's like a shield troll, where you can't use one of the arrow turrets to shoot at it, but you can use one of your like spinning blade traps to kill them. But they'll spawn, and then there's enough environmental stuff to where you can use corridors to your advantage, or stuff like that. The enemies will automatically path towards your traps before you, but if you have no traps, they will path straight at you.
Okay,
so there is a little bit of like magnetism to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does your dude fight? Can he swing at him?
He can, yeah. He's got a boomerang that you throw at them, so you hit him, it comes back, and then you get some special abilities as you go too. So you can get a dwarven hammer that has like a single use, that's like for emergencies only, basically, that you recharge at the same place where you can upgrade your turrets.
This sounds like something I would very much enjoy.
Yeah.
Looks like there's also like a demo prologue on Steam as well.
There is, yeah.
So
it's definitely worth checking
you can
out.
go and check it out.
Reminds me a little bit of a game called Aegis Defenders. People should check out if you like a hybrid tower defense thing.
I do.
Is Dwerve just Steam right now, or is it on other stuff too?
I think it might be Steam only, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, it definitely sounds like something that would do pretty well on Steam right now.
Yeah. Oh no, it's Steam only right now. It looks like.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might check that out. Maybe on my Steam Deck or something. Seems like that kind of game.
Yeah, and it's not a huge resource intensive game. It's mostly sprites, so it doesn't require anything too intensive. So it would probably play really well on the Steam Deck, honestly.
Nice. Otten, you've been playing some Madden 23.
Yeah, Madden NFL 23. Speaking of franchises well known for changing the formula up.
Yeah.
If you weren't going to say it, I was going to.
Do you need to disclose anything?
Oh, because you guys asked me. In case anybody gives a shit, my cousin was drafted into the NFL this last draft in April, and he's in the game. And obviously he's a millionaire from it. So I need to disclose that.
And he's paying you millions for this,
he's
right?
paying me to review it because he, invested into EA or something. I don't know.
Right.
Probably not.
No.
Anywho, I got into the beta thing that I think a lot of people, like anybody can get into, or like somehow you can get into it. Anyway, I mean, it's Madden. They won't let me take pictures or anything or share screen grabs. But maybe that, and I realized this, maybe this wasn't a bug, it was a feature, because when I played, my coach came out and he had rainbow skin. But it's Pride Month. Maybe that was intentional. He also had very jagged things coming off his model that looked like feathers, so maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a bug. Maybe it wasn't intentional. I don't know, but every once in a while it was pretty funny. The game would they cut over to the coach looking at his playbook or something. It's just a fucking rainbow man looking at whatever. Anyway, with all that said, they're doing some interesting stuff that I saw. So if you've ever watched NFL, one of the big things that all the commentators, they always like to talk about momentum in a game. Oh, such and such team now has the momentum, meaning that things are just going to start falling their way.
Right.
And it seems like they've got
morale.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Oh, thank you for letting me compare it to Dynasty Warriors. So you know how Dynasty Warriors has the morale meter?
Of course. That. I played every single one.
So anyway,
fantastic games.
It's got this bar at the top that it seems to be you fight back and forth between the teams, and there's little notches on it where it'll give you a buff or give them a hindrance. So one of them was it would hide the circle of where the ball is going to land. Let's say you throw a pass to somebody, and your opponent won't see where the circle is or where it's supposedly going to land. So that would give you an advantage to try to catch the ball, and the defender couldn't get it, kind of thing. So nothing that's humongous, but little tiny things that could definitely give you an edge in a moment. And they haven't had something like that before that I remember. I have not played every iteration of Madden. I've played quite a few of them. So that's kind of interesting. The beta thing doesn't give me access to a bunch of the different modes, so I can't test that out. It was just play a regular Madden game. And they change up the UI like they always do, the way it looks. But moving around the people on the field, I feel like I need to look into it more, because they usually put out a lot of stuff of various tweaks they make into the simulation stuff. But everything feels a lot more weighty. People are a little slower, but probably matches up a little more realistically than arcadey. And big dudes fuck you up. I don't know. It's just sense. there's a certain. It's funny to bring up momentum again, but a momentum in the characters that you're using, or the players you're using, and
fictional characters.
Yeah, fictional character Tom Brady. Right. But there's also
he's only in the video game.
So I caught the ball with my protagonist.
There's also a little more nuance in throwing the ball. Before, if you were to throw a pass, you could move the analog stick left or right, and that you would throw it a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right if you knew you wanted to get it away from a defender or something. This one, it seems like there's a little bit more going on where when you do that, you have a circle, and I don't know if you can control it during the air or it's when you're passing it. But there's a lot more range of where the ball can go that will absolutely fuck up your receiver, and they won't catch it. So before it was kind of automatic. So this one, it seems like you need to be a little more involved in it to get it to work correctly.
There's a higher risk of incomplete passes kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're controlling a little bit more where it can go, and it can go a little more wild on you. Where before it was just kind of automatic, and the receiver would adjust to it. Now you have a little more control of it, which for someone that's way into getting into the the mechanics of it and the minutia of the game, is probably very interesting. It definitely seems like it's a lot more involved than just push button catch ball, which is, I think, good for it. I know not everybody's going to want that. They want to just push button catch ball, but it makes it a little bit more involved of a game, seemingly. I haven't played a ton of it, but I mean, it's Madden.
Yeah.
It's a sports game.
Do you feel like you've played this game before, or is there enough here where you're like, oh, this is
sure.
Kind of fresh?
Did you play Madden 12? Then
No.
you've played this. Like the games are very similar, where it's, and once you have a sports simulation game, the sport doesn't change every year. It's not like, all right, we're adding a new mechanic into the NFL.
Yeah, now there are 2 balls.
You know, like they're not
Touchdown
doing that
celebrations
kind of stuff.
are back.
So it's
is there an open world lobby for you to run around from building to building?
I didn't have access to it if there was. They only let me play the game.
If you run around a defender, does it knock them up?
No paintbrush mechanics in this one.
Dang it.
But that's the kind of stuff I wish Madden
How are
would
the
do.
building mechanics?
Wouldn't it be great if they had their like simulation regular mode and then they just went fucking weird in some other ones? Like, yeah, here's some weird shit you're gonna do with this in this football game now. Why not?
Like Fortnite.
That's what they should do.
Fortnite X Madden.
Well, there are NFL players in it already.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah,
I mean,
Fortnite is
it's
the
Madden.
game.
I wish they would do some more with it, but once you kind of get a sports simulator doing more or less what you want it to in terms of the like engine, it's just fine tuning and tweaks from there. And that's there. If you compare it several generations ago or several games ago, like there's quite a few tweaks to how the game works, but it's really on a small level that you, unless you're really paying attention or like really into it, you're probably not going to notice as a casual person playing it. But they've kind of got it to where they want, so that's why I really wish they would be like, all right, let's make some weird fucking modes, because the simulation is always going to be what it is.
Right.
That makes sense for Madden, though. Like, once you've got the formula down,
Yeah, they just haven't done
you
that
really
yet.
just want to be making the slight improvements.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are like the 2Ks like that. The NBA game, it's the same thing. It's more or less the same. It's just slight tweaks here and there. But I wish these sports games would be like, okay, we have the simulation thing there. Let's just get weird with it on the side.
Like, let's have the arcade mode as well as the
we had
simulation.
NFL Blitz was a game, which was great. Let's make that as a mode. Like, just do
Bring
weird
that
shit.
back.
Yeah, do weird stuff on the side. That I think that's where they should go. And some weird modes like that could be then the popular way that game's played. But they don't do that. None of the sports games do that.
Wasn't there an older football game that, like, whenever you tackled someone, they would do like Mortal Kombat style X-rays of like
Blood
their
Bowl,
bones?
right?
No,
Blood
it was
Bowl,
like it was
Mutant League Football.
No, they did it for like real people. I mean, it wasn't like actual players. I think it was
I
like
don't remember.
Mario Party 2.
that's that's the one.
How fucking rad would that make Mario Party?
Right.
Crashing in Luigi's skull. Smushing him in. Ripping
That's
out
Luigi's
fucking
Mansion 4.
spinal cords. Toad's spinal cord just gone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But would you say you were interested enough where you might pick up Madden 23 this year?
So that's it. You asked that question when I had that disclosure at the beginning. Because my cousin's in it, I'm very incentivized to get it for the first time that he's in a game.
Fair.
But also,
So hey,
as a Game Pass
if your cousin's
plug,
in the game, TechRaptor recommends.
as a Game Pass plug, what's so great is it comes with the EA thing. So like I've got access to Madden NFL 21 and 22 just because I have Game Pass. So I didn't pay for them at all.
Did you and
so
Stretch just switch roles?
I would be happy to just wait for it to come on the EA Play, and I get that through Game Pass, so I'd be fine with that. But I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast, but I mentioned elsewhere. Like Madden is one of those. It's like my Zen game where it's just I need to fucking do nothing for a little bit, not think about anything. And that's the game I go to. Like, if I'm depressed, that's how I know. I'm like, I'm playing Madden. Fuck. I need to get out of this. Like, because I just want to... It's just an easy thing to not think about anything else. And Madden's good for that. But, like, I mean, it's a sports game. They've all got the same problems where they don't change enough every year for people, and they don't get creative on the side. But, I mean, it's a good experience still if you're an NFL or want to play football stuff.
So I'm sensing, Stretch, do you feel a little bit of animosity considering the discussion we just had about Pokemon today, and then now this discussion about Madden, how the formula hasn't changed?
No, I mean, it's you cannot grow football to be what it's not.
That's I have the same criticism of it, but it's also like I said, it's like not like NFL's like, all right,
it's an apples oranges discussion. Yeah, it's like both of them have the base formula. Both of them have been slowly iterating and improving over the years. But you can also ride Pokemon in Pokemon. You can't just there's just it's apples, oranges.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I almost was going to say something about that, you motherfucker, trying to bait us into that. The sports sims are just that's how you just have to talk about. They've all kind of hit that level to where they're more or less how they want to be as an engine. And unless they're going to just be all right, we're making up the rules for how this game is played now, they don't do that. But sure. I will be gladly willing to criticize Madden for not doing fucking enough to then deign to ask people to pay $60 fucking a year for it. I think that is horseshit. Yes, they don't do it. They need to do the creative stuff on the side, like I said, to justify me wanting to get another thing. Because pre-Game Pass or whatever, it would definitely be I'll get one every 5 years, maybe. I want updated rosters or something like that. But otherwise, it was.
When is Madden and all of these other games just going to go full games as a service?
It seems as soon as they can.
The new season, get the updated roster.
Maybe.
Implement the new changes.
I think they'll do that when Call of Duty goes to the platform.
Well, I think style. They don't do that because they kind of already do that, but they also get people to pay $60 to buy the game every year. Because there's true. Madden Ultimate Team and other stuff. There's plenty of games as a service elements within these sports games that they also get people to pay $60 every year for. So they're double dipping.
But yeah, I think that should do it for this week's episode of the TechRaptor podcast. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening on. And if you're on YouTube, giving us a like and subscribing would go a long way. And let us know in the comments below, what was your favorite announcement from the Sony State of Play? Was it Resident Evil? Was it Final Fantasy 16? Was it something else? You can let us know, or you can go to our Twitter where we have a poll. Well, actually, that poll might have closed by now, huh? Or you can let us know on our site at techraptor.net, where we have a comment system there. You can pop in and let us know. You can also find more gaming news, reviews, and features on our site. But if you want more of us, we will be back next Monday with way more announcements, because we're getting into E3 season, not E3 season now.
Season formerly known as E3.
Hot G-Hoff summer. Hot G-Hoff summer.
That's it. That's what it is. So we'll be back next Monday. See you then.